So how much? I mean, Suge Knight became almost like a black Paul Bunyan, right?
Exactly.
Right. I mean, he was as tall as that motherfucker. That's
He
for sure,
was. And
right?
he had a hacksaw too.
You know what I mean? Big, ferocious. Um,
Big lumberjack shirt wearing ass.
exactly. For it seemed like for everything that was true, we heard so much urban, like stories about this, like legendary stories. I don't know if that shit was true or not. We know, of course, Vanilla Ice dangling them out the window, all that kind of stuff. But from what you knew of Suge, that fear that he put into people, was it what they said it was? Was it what we imagined it to be? Was he really that fearful person that I think people perceived him to be?
I think Suge was the best of the best and the worst of the worst. Like he was a double-edged sword. Meaning the best of the best. If he loved you, boy, he loved you. But if he hated you, he hated you. And he went to many extremes to, you know, get to the bottom line. And that's just what it was with him. Wasn't no in betweens. And it was like pick or choose. And that's what it became out here. Like for certain West Coast rappers, you would see them want to be associated with us, but they didn't really want to get in the mix because they was like, then we'd be picking and choosing. And we may fuck around and like somebody over here and Suge don't like him. Then we didn't offended him, so we just rather not. And he was the type of motherfucker that was really up close and personal. So, he was the big bad wolf
Mm.
when he was the big bad wolf.
You had friends on both sides of that East Coast and West Coast beef. A lot of friends. So, was it extraordinarily stressful for you to have to always feel like you had to pick sides?
Well, it never was about me picking sides until, motherfuckers got at me. And when they got at me, then we just straight went West Coast, like, fuck y'all. And that's just what it was. And it was an adolescent move, but it's all in the art of war. We took that on the chin like they took that on the chin. It's a part of us growing into who we are, and we not proud of it, but it's a moment in history that made us who we are. We had to do that because that's what it was at that time. It's like either lay down or get down. And we chose to get down.
Yeah, one of those was Biggie, right? Who got at you?
Well, it wasn't directly.
Directly, not
It
directly.
was a more of an indirect, I think. And Biggie was always my nigga, and I just feel like he thought that Tupac probably was at the video, and his ill will was intended at Tupac, but Tupac wasn't at the video shoot. It was me and the Dog Pound, and
This is New York, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
in Red Hook, Brooklyn. And it's a myth. It is. It ain't. We never spoke on it. We keep certain shit. G files. You understand what I'm saying? We don't Takashi 6ix9ine. We don't do all that telling on motherfuckers we fuck with. We ride it out. So like I say, Biggie was my nigga after that. You get what I'm saying? Like Lil C's could tell you. You should interview him because I seen him in Atlanta when Biggie was in like a wheelchair. He had crashed or something. And that was like my first time seeing him after Pocket died. And Lil C's made it a must to get me upstairs to talk to him. Like, and this is when it was like, you don't know what's going on. Pocket's dead, so you don't know if people after you or whatnot. But Lil C's was like, man, Biggie want to holler at you. And I went up to his room, and it was a deep conversation, but it was real and it was right and it was needed. And it eventually prompted him to write what he wrote on his last album because of the conversation that we had. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I've always been the one who ain't been afraid to lay my life on the line to make peace and make a difference. If it means that I have to step to you to save some lives, fuck it, I'll do it.
I mean, is it kind of, especially, 2019, and looking at the way rap and hip hop is now, most beloved genre in the world, is it crazy when you look back and think that things really got that serious? Like, we were living in a time where two of the greatest rappers ever both got murdered back to back, and that the beef was so real, people getting shot at. I mean, when you think about that time now, what sort of comes to mind for you?
First thing is the Source Awards because that was like the gas to the fire. Like, and you can't fault the Source Awards because they built that shit for hip hop. But as looking hindsight, damn, it could have been a better award show with better ramifications and security and like knowing how motherfuckers think. Like that kind of shit don't happen no more. Because well, imagine that shit happened at the BET Awards. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, and this is the beginning of it all. And what's so crazy, we was fucking cool that night. Everybody was cool. And then we wasn't cool. Imagine that. We in this room right here, all of us, we chilling, we having a good time, and then 2 minutes later, fuck you, and fuck you.
So what set it off? What lit the, what turned what was, as you said,
To
everybody was
me,
cool.
to me, Bad Boy was winning. And Suge didn't like that.
It was just some competition shit, really.
Like, but that's the owner. We the player, right? Player take on competition. I want that shit. Okay, you the new king. I need that. I got you. I welcome them niggas. They my niggas. So I wasn't on the destroy. I'm welcoming them because they dope and they fly and they the shit and I like what they doing. They using samples I would have used. And this fat nigga hard. And this nigga right here got flavor. I like them. They my kind of niggas. Yeah, Brooklyn, Harlem, they like niggas like we. They get out like we get out. I like them. And actually, we all was cool in the beginning. All of us. Every last one of us. So to be able to say that we cool and then now we not cool, if I love you, it's hard for me to unlove you that fast. Like, what did you do to me? Okay, he did that to you, but what did he do to me? Then you want me to ride with you, but that's our mentality back then. That's why when I stood up and said what I said at the Source Awards, it was me riding for the West, but letting the East know we know where we at. We respect y'all. Because it can't be, yeah, this the West, nigga, what the woo? Because now it's like, hold on, you on our turf. Yeah, this the West, but we respect y'all. And don't y'all love the West? That's why we here. Tell me I'm lying.
So when Suge is like, if you don't want your producer all in the video,
That's for Jermaine Dupri
yeah,
and it's for Puffy. But it's mainly, to me, it felt like it was for Jermaine. But Puffy took it. But Jermaine was doing more of that than Puffy.
But were you thinking in that moment, oh shit?
Jermaine was my nigga. I had gave Bow Wow to Jermaine. Puffy was just becoming my nigga. But at the same time, I liked him and I liked Biggie and I liked the East Coast because that was the mecca of rap. So I'm a rapper first. So I respect the rules and guidelines to this shit. Gangster, but this is my profession. Am I professional or am I a gangster? I'm a gangster, but I'm trying to become professional. But I gotta get rid of my gangster ways in order to become professional. But that ain't gangster if you professional.
That was deep. But that's true. that is also true. Because I'm sure you were thinking when you got into hip hop, like, okay, now I can leave some of this shit behind. And it was like, holy shit.
No, it came right with me.
It came right with
That
you.
shit come right with you, and you can't get rid of it because sometimes we entertain it. And we always want to go back and let me help him out. Oh, cuz just got out? Come on. Oh, my niggas just got out. Them be the worst ones because their mentality ain't what yours is. And you trying to catch them up, and they behind, and they looking at what you got, and they didn't work for it. And they want what you have. But at the same time, it's like, I'm trying to be professional, but then again, I got to keep it gangster. Me being professional will not allow me to be around you because you too gangster.
You think if Biggie and Pac had lived, they would have buried the hatchet eventually?
Yeah, I do believe so because I felt like now that all the facts are out, that we realize that Biggie didn't have nothing to do with shooting Pac at the fucking studio, that was the whole thing. And I never felt like they had something to do with it because it just didn't feel right. They was his friends at the time. I think somebody may have had a wind of it, but couldn't say nothing. Because when you keeping the gangster, you say something, you gonna get hit. That's in the time when New York really was gangster. Like all this new shit, telling and all this shit, I don't know what they on right now. But around that time, niggas wouldn't have dreamed of no shit like that. They wasn't gonna say nothing. And I think maybe, I don't think Puffy and Biggie knew, but I think people in that circumference knew that the lick was about to go down. And they didn't give Pac the heads up. Because I'm the kind of like heads up kind of guy. Like since I've been active, when I was an active gangbanger, I grew up on the east side, but I played football on the west side. And it would be certain situations where the east side and the west side wouldn't get along. And if I would see some of my homies from the west side, I would give them the heads up on, hey, cuz it ain't really cool to be, moving around like that because they, they tripping. Like the heads up, like to give them that. They didn't give him that. And I think that's why Pac took it to heart because he felt like, first of all, whoever did this to me, y'all knew him or y'all from New York so y'all can find out who did it and I need some information or y'all should have gave me information to better protect myself because I'm coming to see y'all.
Did you ever I assume you probably did, but or how much did you talk to Pac and try to convince him that this was not what you think it was?
Now that was never a conversation we had. That nigga was not listening to none of that shit. You can knock that part of the game out. That motherfucker had his mind made up, like, you know what I'm saying? But what I did clash with him on was the Hit 'Em Up song. When he played it for me, I was like, cuz I ain't really feeling that, cuz
You thought he took it too far.
I just didn't feel it. I just felt like he was making great music, and that was not great music. That was gonna be a come and go record. Like, he was making timeless shit that's gonna be here when he gone. That record came and went. Because now that Biggie died, people that love Biggie don't want to hear that record. So it can't live. It can't live. And you don't want that to be a part of your legacy because you were bigger than being mad at somebody who really didn't do nothing to you that you thought did something to you. Because now that the facts are out, Biggie was never wrong. That shit came from somebody else. Facts, right? It's truth. It's written. It's somebody that spoke on what happened. Had nothing to do with it. That was our move. Wow.
Hmm. What do you think becomes a death row if Pac lives?
I think if Pac lives, somebody else may not live. And that's just, I think it would have been a reversal of roles just because he would have got the light. And I think God does that sometimes of us. He uses us as examples so we can better ourselves and learn from. I just feel like out of that tree, something had to fall. I watch movies. I know life. It's always a great movie and it's a family and it's always, you see the family portrait in the beginning and by the end of the movie, there's 2 or 3 key people in that family picture that's gone. But then there's some that's still there and they keeping the legacy going on. Because you can look at Pac and Nate Dogg and Suge. These are 3 people. 2 of them passed away, 1 of them going to jail forever. Then you look at Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. These are 2 people who done the masses of these 3 people put together. From just surviving, just giving opportunity, just being able to be peaceful and be smart enough to say that I'm going to leave that behind and I'm just going to smile a little bit and be me and not try to be so gangster but be more professional.
Mm. So you just, it sounds like you almost feel like maybe not everything that happened, but some of what happened was just kind of destined to happen.
My mother always said, she say that in life you'll be tested so that way you'll have a testimony. And I never understood that until I started getting tested. And when I started getting tested, it made me better. So when I testified and when I had my testimony, more people could identify with it and more people could really hone on to what I was saying and really say, you know what? He's giving us information and we need that.